This little portable gaming console is supposed to have 400 classic games in it? Well, we'll have to see about that. So stay tuned and let's have a look at it. Hey guys, just a quick reminder before we get to today's video. If you like this video, please remember to hit the like button down below. And if you'd like to see more content like this, please remember to subscribe to this channel. And if you have any questions about this video or you want to ask me something else, please don't hesitate to leave a comment down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And now let's get to today's video. Okay, so today with me here I have this little portable gaming console. It costs only 150 rands. I mean, that's around like $16 or $17. So it's pretty darn cheap for a gaming console that's supposed to have like 400 classic games in it. But we'll first have to see about that. So first of all, let's just have a look at the packaging. So the packaging is pretty simple. It's a pretty cheap cardboard box, nothing too fancy about it. So yeah, not much to see here. They have some descriptions about it and everything on here. First thing I got here to note is that it comes in a couple of different colors they have marked here. You got a black one, white one, and what's supposed to be a yellow one, but this marker on the box looks like it's brown, but I know it does come in a yellow, so that's just the printing on the box. The particular one I got is the black one. As you can see, it's got a marker here to indicate this is the black one. And then otherwise, they have some other indications of what exactly is inside of the box, but we'll just have a look at that in a minute. Okay, and here on the other side, we have a bit of a description of the particular gaming console. So first of all, it's a digital gaming system with a 3-inch super wide LCD. I don't know exactly what makes it super wide exactly, but okay, we'll have to see about that. The console is slim, they say, portable and trendy. So that's quite interesting. Digital multi-platform device, can play on TV. That's an interesting feature, I did see that. We'll get to check that out a little later as well. The backlight function of the screen ensures player can play everywhere. So that basically probably just means you can play in the dark. Okay, and then it says includes an AC charger and a lithium-ion rechargeable battery. 6 hours of continuous play, they say, which is pretty darn good for a cheap Chinese console like this one. We'll have to see about that. Maybe we'll do a test. And that's basically all there is to see on the box. So now let's have a look at what's inside. So it just opens up like this. Fairly cheap packaging, really nothing fancy. And then it just comes in a cheap plastic tray like this one. Yep, that's basically all there's in the box. So then there's the console itself, and here is the included wires and like a little user's manual. I'll fold that open. Here you see. So yeah, not much to see there, very basic. We'll put that aside just. Okay, then we have this little cable. This is for connecting it to a TV. So yes, you can connect it to TV as well. It uses one of these 2.5mm jacks to connect. So yeah, it's the old school small ones. It's not a very strong connector, this one, so you'd have to be pretty careful with this to not break it, but that's what you get. And then on the other side, you only get a normal analog video out and mono audio. So you don't get stereo audio either, but that's fine with retro games. You can live with that, I guess. Okay, and then we have a little charging cable. Not very long. very short, but at least it is a micro USB, so that's a little bit more modern and it's pretty standard, so you could easily get a longer one or just use a phone charger that is micro B. That's pretty nice. Okay, next, now let's have a look at the console itself. So first of all, first impressions, I don't think it's too bad. It looks pretty nice, feels pretty okay. The buttons feels like, I guess you could probably play with these, but I'd have to use them before I can say. But I don't feel like the worst I've ever felt. So that's interesting. And then, yeah, this thing isn't exactly what I would call slim. They were calling it slim on the box there. So yeah, it's not exactly slim. It's a pretty beefy and heavy console. I think we should also do a teardown of this one and see what exactly is inside at some point. That would be quite interesting. Next, what else is there to see here? And then here at the back it has a little cover. Yeah, and as you can see there, it uses a normal old school lithium ion battery. For those of you who's old enough actually to recognize these batteries, these are like the ones that came in the old Nokias. So yeah, these batteries were pretty common at the time, but they're kind of old now. But they're still okay batteries. At least it's got a rechargeable battery, so you don't need to always be buying batteries and all of that. So that's pretty nice. And you might actually still be able to find a replacement battery for this at some point if you need it, because it is a standard Nokia battery. Just now, next, let's have a look at exactly what the interface is like. So I believe this right here is the power button. So just turn that on. Okay, there we go. Okay, and then here on the side it has a volume control. I'm just gonna turn down the sound for a couple of reasons. First of all, I want to be able to talk, and I also am not sure if this music might be copyrighted and I don't want to get a strike for it. Okay, so first of all, quite interesting thing here. It gives you the option to choose between Chinese or English. So you can just pick here. Number 1 is Chinese and number 2 is English. So you can play in either languages. You don't exactly get a lot of language choices, but at least you get it. It would be quite a bummer if this whole thing was just in Chinese, because then how would we understand? Okay, but now let's choose English because we certainly don't understand Chinese. Okay, so here is the games. So first of all, let's have a quick look at the games we've got here. Okay, so first of all, I can see it's just mostly Nintendo games, old school Nintendo games. Then the next page, some more of it, and some more, yeah. And it just goes on like that for quite a while. What I do want to see is if these are just repeats of the same games, because that's very often what these kinds of consoles does. They say they have like 400 games on them, but then they actually just have like a couple of games and they just repeat them over and over and over again. Sometimes they're even smart about it and they rename them, so we'd have to play a couple of games and see if they're just repeats of the same game. But now let's just play some games that I know, that I can see here, that I'm very familiar with. I'm gonna go back up to the top, and right here I'm gonna play Super Mario. So let's see how that is. So I guess we say start. We press start. Okay, yes, and there we have it. Okay, I guess I just have to say one player. Now I have to figure out the controls first. It says high jump, low jump. Okay, so I've got this, I think. I haven't played this in a long time, and now playing it on something that I'm not familiar with, it's quite hard. Okay, let's see. Okay, the controls is okay. I think it is basically just some kind of an emulator. It's not like a regional like Nintendo, so I mean, it's not great, but it's okay. It's good enough. So yeah, it's a pretty good experience, I'd say. Certainly not a terrible gaming experience. So yeah, I would certainly play on this. The screen, I have to say, is actually pretty good. I think it's pretty doable at this price. Since this thing only costs like 150 rands, I consider it to be pretty good at that price. Now, the other feature that I really do want to test out on it is playing it on the TV, since that sounds like a pretty nice thing. Such a small compact console that I can play on the TV, that's pretty nice. Well, that's enough of that now. So I guess we press the reset button here. Okay, yeah, and then we have to completely start from the beginning all over again. Okay, what else is there here that I know? Let's go down a little bit, see if there's anything that might look suspicious. The names are usually very suspicious on the games that are just renamed. So I want to check if I can see anything that's looking quite suspicious. So far, not exactly. I'm not all that familiar with old Nintendo games. I used to play a couple of them, but I never played all of them because I'm not that old exactly. So yeah, I'm not that familiar with all of these games. So there's a lot of them that I might know, but there's also just as many that I would not know. Okay, let's just take a random game here. We're at over 100 now, so let's just test this one right here, whatever that is. Okay, so easy, since I don't even know what it is that I'm playing. Okay, stage 1. Oh, okay. So this is kind of like Snakes, but just a different version of it, I guess. Okay, game over. And I'm not very good at it. Yeah, so that's quite interesting. That's also a pretty good game. One thing that I have realized with this console now so far is the buttons feel like they kind of respond, or the console at least kind of feels like it responds slower than when you press the buttons. The response isn't like immediate when you press the button. It's got a little bit of a delay when you press the button. So I think that's probably got something to do with the emulation of this device, because it's basically just emulating old gaming consoles. So that might be a bit of a bummer for some of the games that are more reliant on reaction time. So yeah, that might not be exactly fine, but otherwise so far it does feel like a pretty darn good console. Another thing I do just want to quickly mention is there is another version of this console also that comes with another controller that plugs into it, and then you can do like 2-player with it, which is kind of cool. This particular one is just a single player one now, but the other one is basically identical. It's the exact same thing, it just has an extra external little like controller that you just plug into it. So what is my thoughts on this little gaming console then so far? Well, so far I think it's a pretty good little gaming console. I think that you are certainly getting your money's worth. Now, I'm not sure exactly how good the battery life is gonna be, but I'm assuming it's gonna be pretty okay, because these old Nokia batteries, they have a pretty good battery life, and this thing wouldn't take too much power. It probably doesn't have a very powerful processor or anything in it. The thing that's probably taking the most power in this little gaming console is probably the display. The display looks pretty good. I mean, it's not like a color accurate screen or anything like that, but it's at least a color screen and it's pretty nice. Now, as for their claims of a super wide screen, I don't even know where they got that idea, because this is certainly not a wide screen at all. It's not even a 16:9 display. This is just a 4:3 normal display, but that's perfectly fine for these retro games. That I wouldn't want anything more, so that's just perfect. So overall, would I suggest that you buy this little gaming console if you are considering it? Well, certainly you can buy it, but you just must also not expect too much from it. You must expect to get your money's worth, not anything more really. Now, as for its ability to output to a TV, I will be testing that, but to prevent this video from getting too long, I'm gonna do that in another little video that I will be doing next. And then I think I'm gonna probably also be doing a little teardown video of this little gaming console, since I am interested in seeing exactly what's inside of this console. But that's basically all I have to say then about this console. So guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video and you found it informative. And if you did, please remember to hit the like button down below and subscribe to the channel. And if you have any questions about today's video or you want to ask me anything else, don't hesitate to leave a comment down below and I'll try and get back to you as soon as possible. That will be all for today then, and I'll see you guys next time.